Today, we are going to create a cinematic sequence using my spare bedroom. And yes, I said it, cinematic. I know you've seen it all over YouTube. Cinematic camera, cinematic lens, cinematic this, cinematic that, cinematic. Yeah, I said cinematic. And the reason I said cinematic is just because I'm going to create the most film-like video that I can create in this space. I'm going to use as much of my ability as I have to create and make this thing look like something film-like. Now, the camera of choice for this video is the Sony FX30. It's the camera of choice because it's the only camera we got. All right, we got the Sony FX30. As far as the lens goes, we got a couple, but we're gonna be using the Sigma 18-35 1.8. I think this is the best lens that pairs with this camera because, first of all, this lens meets every criteria that I use it for. It's got a beautiful look to it. I love a short focusing distance, so if I'm able to get up on something and still focus, I mean, it's almost macro, but not quite. That's why I love that lens. That's why it's the choice. We're also going to be using the f22C. We're going to be using that light because, again, this is not the most ideal space, so it's not the biggest room in the world, and so this is a LED mat that I can kind of put up against stuff if I need to. It's just got a small form factor to it, and so I can really make this thing work. That's pretty much it. We got a camera, we got a lens, we got a light, and we're gonna try to make this thing do what it do. And so the first thing I want to do is write a story. So come on with me as I do that. What we got here is like just a short list of stuff. I'm not going to show you because I failed English and I don't want you looking at all these misspelled words, talking about like, dude, should I be trying to learn something from this kid? So we're just going to let you listen to my voice, all right? So I said frustrated by life. That's the first sentence that came to my mind, and I literally built an entire short little 30-45 second sequence off of that. So the character walks into the room, he's frustrated. Every story has a beginning, middle, and end. We've got to have some struggle. And so there's not a lot of elements into this room. And so how we're telling this story is by using the emotions of the character. This is how I started this story. I just wrote down an emotion and I built a story off of that. Because I can see frustration on a character's face and we can kind of get an idea of what's going on. The next line I said was, let's say he's anxious. And so now we can build and tell the audience kind of like what's going on because they may not understand why this guy is frustrated. And so what I said is the character abruptly enters the room, visibly frustrated, and audibly you can hear his voice saying these words. So you're going to be able to hear him saying stuff like, how am I going to make it? I should be further along. I'm getting older. You know, like all these different lines that let you know this character now has entered into a anxious space. So the way that I wanted to kind of display that was with using his voice audibly, like he's not talking, but it's almost like you can hear his inner thoughts. Then I said the character's pacing back and forth in front of this window. We're using the elements of the room that we have. We only got the window, we got the door. We'll probably get a shot of him walking in the door and the doorknob turning, a shot of his face, like, you know, frustrated. You start hearing the voices. He's pacing back and forth. We get a wide shot. We maybe do a silhouette of his body, you know, going back and forth. And then we've got a corner in the room. And so he retreats to this corner because it's like he feels lonely. He doesn't know what to do. And we get a wide shot. We make him look as small as possible. We make him feel, you know, like we make the audience feel lonely. And then let's say he grabs some headphones and the voice is completely mute out. And we're gonna figure this out, but I just want to hear maybe just one simple voiceover that says, listen, just one word, and that's the end of the video. So I think that's it, man. And so from here, we're gonna create, you know, a shot list of each of these items. We're gonna make it simple by just making like, you know, 5 or 6 scenes. I like to do like 3 shots per scene, just because I want to give some variety. There's not a lot going on in this room, and so we want tights, we want mediums, and we want wides. We can't really do a lot of wides, but we'll figure it out. And so each scene is going to have 3 distinct shots, and so now I'm going to actually show you what that is. All right, so we've got the shot list here. This shot list basically shows the 4 different scenes that will come up with this, right? There's 4 different scenes, and I've got the shots kind of listed out, and there's nothing dynamic about this. Usually I would pair this with some type of visual aid, so like something from Shot Deck or maybe pulling an image from Google. And so I really can show whoever I'm working with what each shot would really look like to give them a better representation. So since it's just me, it's easy because this is exactly what I see in my head. And so walks in room frustrated, doorknob turns, tight shot. Opening of the door, tight. Walks in the room quickly, wide. Like, so it's real easy and real simple for me. Let's say voices enter into the character's head, silhouette shot of the character pacing back and forth. We want a wide of that. I already know what I'm looking for here. And so that's what we did from scene to scene. Really simple. I would say if you're having trouble like figuring out how to do this, get you a visual aid as well. So like pull an image off of Google to help you kind of figure out like what you would want it to look like. If you want to go even deeper, you want to kind of get what the shot would look like. So you can get a feel, like you can create a mood board. So this is what we got. And so now we're about to shoot this. See you in the next one.
You're not doing enough. You should be further along by now. Time is slipping away. Why can't you just get it together? You can't afford to fail. You're letting your family down. You should be further along by now. This is all on you. What if this never works out? You always start things, but you never finish. Why can't you figure this out? You need to be stronger. You should have had it all together by now. You don't deserve to take a break. You're not doing enough. You should be further along by now. Time is slipping away. Why can't you just get it together? You can't afford to fail. You're letting your family down. What if you're just not good enough? What if you're just not good enough? What if you're just not good enough? What if you're just not good enough?